Fantasy news drama alert, my friends. Daniel Greene is stepping away from fantasy news after he's kind of promised to do so over the last year. You've heard him say it multiple times. I'll get into the whole background of kind of how this all escalated and what's all happening at this point and give a little speculation on things. He made a video the other day doing the fantasy news, and then he says he's going to be turning it over to another YouTuber. So let's get into this in just a moment. My name's John Delarose. I am your real fantasy and sci-fi news, and I have a new trilogy out on Fund My Comic right now. It's called Valiant Frontiers. This is my answer to Alex Kurtzman's Star Trek. I'm bringing back exploring strange new worlds, whereas Star Trek's gone off exploring strange new genders. We're doing it right. The feel that you got from the 90s, from Next Generation, from Voyager, from Deep Space Nine, that's all going to be packed into this trilogy. Now, I wrote a full trilogy in advance so that the characters really could breathe, they could progress, they could really give you the science fiction that you deserve. Each one of these books is a standalone, and yet it builds into a bigger universe. So while Next Generation had a great sort of Planet of the Week kind of thing, what it didn't have is the characters didn't really progress. They kind of reset, and there was amnesia for the episodes of every episode. We don't do that here. They kind of grow because as one writer, I can remember the characters and progress them, and it works really, really well. So I want you to check this out. It is in the description below. It starts with the book The Soul Catcher right here, and it's a really, really poignant one for today's times. I think you're going to love it. It's available on ebook. It's available on paperback, and then we've got a beautiful premium hardcover edition of something we've never done before. And on top of this, the coolest part is my Arishan War, my original trilogy I wrote back in the day, is going to get a leather-bound edition. I'm teaming with Castalia Library, who produces the finest quality leather-bounds right here, and we're going to be doing one just like the Swiss Family Robinson, which I just got in the mail from their subscription. And gosh, these are super pretty. The ultimate collector's item, excellent books right here. So thank you. This is in the description below. Grab it today, and I appreciate you guys being here. Let's get into the news. So YouTuber Daniel Greene announces stepping away from fantasy news. Daniel Greene, the popular booktuber behind fantasy news, announced he's gradually stepping down as host of his weekly fantasy and science fiction news show after nearly a decade of covering the genre. The decision follows a year marked by personal controversy and health concerns that have taken a toll on the creator. He said, "Eventually, I'm looking to step down as your regular disheveled goblin host," he told his audience. Now, I have a question. He does these like sort of things where he kind of like acts all crazy and really cringy. My 12-year-old son actually had a word for it. I can't remember what it was, but he knows YouTubers that do this. He said, oh yeah, he called them corny. He said it was corny YouTube, and that's what he does. Do people actually like that? Because I watch these Dungeons and Dragons channels, and they do these like very corny jokes or very corny performance art sort of things on the thing. I try to just deliver the news and talk about things off the top of my head and act like a normal person. What do you guys prefer? Do you actually like that? Because it seems all the big YouTubers kind of do that kind of thing, and it's bizarre to me. I don't understand it. Anyway, that's a little aside. Greene's Fantasy News has become a cornerstone of fantasy book community, delivering weekly updates on publishing news, book releases, author announcements, and industry developments. The show's broken major stories about Amazon's business practices, particularly regarding Audible's impact on libraries and independent bookstores and independent booksellers. Big stuff lately. Greene's investigative work on Audible's exclusive contracts and their effect has provided valuable coverage in issues affecting readers and authors alike. This transition is interesting. It's bringing in Austin and Rich from the YouTube channel Two to Ramble, which I've never watched their show before, as guest hosts who could eventually become permanent replacements. Two to Ramble has them. They're college friends. They discuss fantasy and science fiction books through podcasts and book club discussions. The duo met in college over shared interests that started their channel to share book discussions with a wider audience. Greene said there's an issue of having an entire episode for fantasy news in one day, and I guess he did all this in one day. He says, "I tried to spread out the workload, but how news is released and a few other factors won't get into it. No matter what, I end up till 3 or 4 a.m. That's crazy. I could never do that. I spend most of my time writing. I don't know about him. Maybe that's what he wants to do now. I'll get into that. Monday night, Tuesday morning to prepare for the fantasy news, and I have to be up at 9 releasing it. That just messes with my sleep schedule for the rest of the week. And according to my doctor, that's not sustainable." That's interesting that he actually has a doctor that he's got problems. I don't know what's going on with his health or anything like that. I hope he's okay. And I hope this helps with whatever's going on there, of course. So the announcement follows a difficult period. If you saw earlier this year, there were allegations from this YouTuber, Naomi King. She accused him of sexual assault, alleging he coerced her into non-consensual activity during a Las Vegas trip. It went crazy, and as it went along, it was very clear that she was making up details, changing things as it went along. And he had receipts and actually showed it. It was some of the most interesting YouTube YouTube drama of the year when we looked at this. Now, that all got really, really weird when Greene actually brought his wife on the show, and she actually started making statements and things like that. I mean, it was obvious that he cheated on her, which was kind of weird and cringy. And but he obviously didn't do what Naomi King said either, and it was pretty ugly. And it was a naked, pardon that use, sort of clout grab or attention grab on her part, and it seems like she's just extremely mentally ill on that level. Now, that died down, but at the time, he said he was going to step away from fantasy news, maybe even give the channel to somebody else because he didn't want to deal with that whole situation. I wonder if that colored things, and maybe the wife doesn't like his sort of e-fame and attention and things like that and wants him to back away. That'd be a reasonable reason for doing it, of course. And, of course, we know that he writes his own books as well. He's run Kickstarters and the like, and he probably wants to spend more time on that because YouTubing takes a lot of time, whether you do all the clips and things like that or not. You know, this is an hour, of course, of my time researching all this information of what's going on, writing up the article, then doing the YouTube on this. A lot of people don't write articles. I'm one of the few that do. Most people just read other people's articles. But this is a tough thing, and it does actually spend a lot of time doing it. So I understand that. And if he does want to write, or if he does just want to spend more time with his family, that's a good thing either way. So he said that there's going to be some other videos that he'll do over time, and he'll do deep dives into things like Audible and the like, which is a good thing. But this whole, like, the fantasy news segment or whatever is going to get broken up. Now, this is interesting. We'll see how this impacts the channel. If people, I think for the most part for channels, people are personality driven. So they actually come and they hang out and they want to hang out with the personality there. So if I made a YouTube channel and I stepped away and I had some random person running it for the next month or two, I think there'd be a problem with that. And unless you really like that person, you might like that person better than me. I'm not the most YouTuber friendly person, but whatever. But in that level, I think it does cause a problem maybe for the channel, but we'll see how it goes and we'll see what happens. We'll of course cover things that become interesting here. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Are you going to continue to watch fantasy news without Daniel Greene? Do you even watch it to begin with? Do you even know who he is? Was this the most you've ever heard of him? He's got almost 500,000 subs, I think, on the channel there. It's a pretty big YouTube channel. It's one of the bigger booktube things, and that's why I'm, of course, interested in it. As a sci-fi and fantasy enthusiast myself, it is where I find a lot of news on things like that. He does pretty much just cover the mainstream stuff that's already popular and the like, and so, of course, we do little things differently over here. But let me know in the comment down below. Love to hear from you. And please make sure to check out my Valiant Frontiers. This is the most important work I've ever done, and I really want to get this into your hands. There's ebook versions, and they're just set at the level that I'd be selling it on Amazon for otherwise. I've written the stories, so of course those will be done when the campaign's done, immediately getting into your hands. That's cool. I actually do things ahead of time before launching a crowdfund. It's very different than the way a lot of things do things. And it's tough because I put a lot of personal investment, of course, into the editing, into the art, and the like, that of course, is a big gamble before we do this. For 3 books especially is something different. So it's good stuff, and I know this is the best work of my career. I know that this is a great answer to Star Trek, and I know that science fiction fans are going to love this. So grab this in the description below. Thank you so much. Get the premium editions because they're going to be fire. I appreciate you guys for being here. We'll be back soon.